Welcome to the National Czech and Slovak Museum. Today's concert will feature 3 musicians, 2 violins, and a viola. Mike Hall will be playing violin, Bryce Christensen will be playing violin, and my name is Beth Hoffman and I will be playing viola. We will be performing an entire work called Terzetto by Dvorak.
Hi, I'm Bryce Christensen.
And I'm Mike Hall. For this project, each of us, in addition to playing, has had multiple roles. My role has been to be doing the videos, and Bryce is our researcher historian, so I'm going to be asking him some questions about the music we're playing today. So Bryce, who was Antonín Dvořák and what was he famous for?
Well, he was a very famous composer of music who lived in Europe during the 1800s. He was born and raised in the country which we now call the Czech Republic. Czech Republic is located in Eastern Europe, next to Germany and Poland. The area where Dvorak lived in the Czech Republic is called Bohemia. Dvorak is famous because he achieved worldwide recognition for his music.
So when was Dvorak born and when did he die?
He was born in the year 1841 and he died in 1904. He lived to be 62.
What type of music is Dvorak famous for?
He was famous as a composer of classical music.
What's classical music?
Well, that's a big question there. I'll try to answer it. Classical music is a type of music that was originally written by composers in European countries over the course of many centuries, and the music is highly organized and complicated. It has different styles depending on what time period the music was written. Classical music is still being written by composers today. Classical music is written for symphony orchestras, for smaller groups of musicians that play instruments, or for individual players of instruments. Classical music is also written for voices as well. When voices are used, they are often used with instruments. The greatest composers have a special gift for creating beautiful melodies. They also have a special gift for adding music from a variety of instruments and voices together with these melodies to create a beautiful sound.
What style of music did Dvorak's music belong to during the time period that he lived?
Dvorak lived in the time period called the Romantic era. This period was approximately from 1800 to 1910, so about 110 years. The Romantic era was based on the ideas of Romanticism. Romanticism in music emphasizes the intense emotional nature of music. One of the ways that this is expressed in music is by creating longer, flowing melodies that are highly emotional in nature. Romantic music also is sometimes highly dramatic, and this drama can be created in a variety of ways. One of the ways to create drama in music is through sudden changes in how loud or soft the music is played, or by suddenly shifting the mood. Composers can also heighten the drama by increasing the difficulty level of the music. This creates more challenges for the performer, as we all know, and heightens the emotional tension felt in the music. Romanticism was not only expressed in music, but in art and literature as well.
What was Dvorak's childhood and early adulthood like?
Well, he was born in a small village near the city of Prague, which was the capital, it still is the capital of Bohemia. Bohemia at that time was part of the Austrian Empire. Dvorak was the eldest son of František Dvorak and his wife Anna. Dvorak was baptized as a Roman Catholic in the village church. Dvorak's father worked as a butcher and innkeeper and a professional player of the zither. The zither, it's hard to pronounce, is a thin, flat-shaped instrument that has many strings stretched over it. The zither is played by either plucking or strumming the strings. In 1847, when Dvorak was about 6 years old, he entered primary school and was taught to play the violin. He showed much talent and played in the village band and church. The village band played music that was popular with the common people of Bohemia for many generations. This type of music is known as folk music. It was during these early years that Dvorak's strong Christian faith and his love for Bohemian folk music was nurtured, and which so strongly influenced his music. At the age of 13, Dvorak was sent to another town to live with his uncle so that he could learn the German language. German was the language that was spoken throughout the Austrian Empire. Dvorak was also very fortunate because he was able to take organ, piano, and violin lessons from his German language teacher. His teacher taught him important lessons on how music was put together and introduced him to the composers of the time. His German language teacher was also the town's church organist, how convenient, and would sometimes allow Dvorak to play the organ at the services. At the age of 16, Dvorak's father allowed his son to become a musician on the condition that he should work toward a career as an organist. Dvorak moved to Prague to study at the organ school, and he managed to graduate second in his class, so he was pretty good. During the time of his organ studies and afterward, Dvorak also played as a violist in numerous bands and orchestras in the Prague area. In 1862, he was hired as a violist in the Prague Provisional Theater Orchestra. That was a big break for him. But at the time he was so poor he could hardly afford concert tickets, so playing in the orchestra gave him a chance to hear the great operas of the day. Dvorak supplemented his income by giving piano lessons. It was during this period in Prague that Dvorak first began to seriously compose music.
Before we go on, let's all say zither.
Zither!
So how did Dvorak become famous around the world as a composer after being poor for so many years of his life?
Well, we'll start with the year 1871. Dvorak gave up his job in the provisional theater to devote more time to composing. By 1873, Dvorak had achieved success in Prague as a composer, but was still struggling financially. In 1874, he applied for and won the Austrian State Prize for Composition. He submitted 15 compositions, 2 of which were symphonies, so that's a lot of music. There were 3 members of the jury that awarded Dvorak the prize. The most famous member was Johannes Brahms, who was at the time among the most famous composers in all of Europe. Brahms is extremely impressed with the talent of Dvorak and remained so until the end of his life. And if you hear the music of Dvorak and Brahms, there's a lot of similarities there, so I can see why Brahms was very pleased with Dvorak. Dvorak again won the same prize in 1876 and 1877. The money that Dvorak won from these prizes tremendously helped him financially, and the strong support of Brahms helped Dvorak to get his music published internationally. Brahms recommended Dvorak's music to his own publisher, Simrock. In 1878, Dvorak submitted his Slavonic dances to Simrock, and this music became an immediate and great success. The music was originally written for the piano for 4 hands, which of course would mean 2 players playing on one piano. But Simrock requested that Dvorak submit a version for the whole orchestra. These dances were played in 1879 in concerts in France, England, and the United States. This was the beginning of Dvorak's international career.
One more question. What types of instrument combinations did Dvorak use?
Well, besides the symphony orchestra and the string orchestra, he wrote much music that featured smaller groups of bowed string instruments, such as the violin, the viola, and the cello. He combined these, and sometimes he would combine these combinations with piano. Music that is written for these smaller groups of instruments is called chamber music, because this music was originally intended to be performed in a large room, which they call a chamber at the time. Dvorak is best known for writing for string quartet, which consists of 2 violins, a viola, and a cello. Dvorak also wrote for string quintet, which adds an additional viola to the group. And then he even wrote a piece for 6 string players, 2 violins, 2 violas, and 2 cellos. One of the most beautiful and elegant pieces of chamber music that Dvorak ever wrote was for 2 violins and a viola. This piece of music was named Terzetto and C Major. It consists of 4 separate sections, or movements.